Welcome to the Becoming Body Smart podcast, where we unlock the secrets of sustainable health and fitness and help you master your health habits. If you're tired of quick fixes, generic blueprints, and chasing short-term results, you're in the right place. It's time to become Body Smart.
So we want to talk today about what to do when you're in a time crunch, how to still get a meaningful workout in even if your time is limited. So there's a few things you can do, and one of them is just design out like a handful of exercises that you want to hit really quick and knock that out in kind of a circuit style. So some of the way that a lot of our workout plans are built, especially some of our intro ones. And so we want to talk more about that, why that's important and how to utilize time crunch workouts, and why even just 20 or 30 seconds of exercise can make a big difference in your overall health and wellness and outlook on things. So, yeah, welcome, and we're happy that you joined us.
Yeah, well, I think, the big problem with a lot of exercise plans is they end up being built for the ideal, right? If you had all the time in the world and all the energy in the world and all the right equipment, and the perfect meal plan, then this is what you should do. But rarely are our lives actually ideal. And what becomes the most important is consistency, as we always say, right? Can I adhere to this training plan over time? And consistency is going to beat intensity every single time.
Well, it's just so nice to have a plan B.
And
so that you can be consistent.
Exactly. And so when whatever pops up, traffic jam or sick kid or any number of other things that change the schedule, or you're out of town. Life. Yeah. When just life happens, having a variety of options to choose from, then it doesn't have to be this big, what am I going to do now, right? And use up all this mental energy to decide what we're going to do. You already have a ready file of, I know I can do this type of workout, or I can do this, or I'll have this equipment here, so I can do this real quick, or I won't have any equipment, so I'll just do a quick body weight workout. But just still getting something in is going to, one, keep that consistency, and two, make sure that we're still getting a stimulus going to our body so that it continues to adapt in the way that we want it to.
I think you need to turn just a little bit more when you do that. So.
Oh yeah, like.
Yeah, like that. Sorry, just giving Mark a hard time. He did just bench 250 a second ago, so that was pretty impressive.
PR today.
Recent PR, so that's fun. So go Mark. That's a lot of weight. Anyway, it's kind of an aside. But it is nice to be able to have those like fallback programs, things that we can rely on to help us make the progress and make sure we're not dropping off. And so even though some of these fallback programs may not be ideal in terms of making progress, that it's not going to be the same amount of load or all those types of things, they're still going to be really beneficial in just maintaining some load in the system and keeping that habit alive. And so many benefits to doing a shortcut workout. So I would rather people kind of go half effort and not be able to do the full thing more often than not than feel like they have to do all or nothing.
Right. Well, that ends up being a huge problem, and more often than not, it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Even just like, hey, I'm going to do 5 air squats. That's literally all I have time for. Again, it's keeping the habit alive and keeping this ingrained as something you do, because everything that we habitify, it just becomes much easier, right? There's a much lower mental load that we have to put in thing, and we feel resistance to not do the habit versus resistance to do the thing. Right. And that's what we want to develop is not having resistance as much.
Well, and the all or nothing basically becomes a nothing.
Yeah. Always.
Because the fact that you're asking the question all or nothing means that there's something getting in the way that's going to limit your ability to do it all. And so like having an all or nothing mentality really winds up being very self-sabotaging. So
yeah. With that being said, like it's important to differentiate between I legitimately don't have enough time in my schedule versus like I'm just not feeling motivated. And if that's an issue, right. There's some other things that we can do. Maybe it does mean that we need a break. Maybe we need to add some variety in, or maybe we need to focus on some of the 5 patterns, right? Am I getting enough sleep? Yeah. Am I focusing enough on the recovery aspect of the equation so that I'm prepared with energy to complete the workouts and to do the things that I need to do?
Well, and I would say planning is such a big, the 5 Ps or whatever, prior planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
I think that's often Like we feel like we're in a time crunch, like, oh, I just don't have the time. My time is limited today. When really it's, I could have had the time. I just didn't plan to make the time. And so that I think is probably my problem as much as anything often is I just didn't plan when I was going to do it and then stick to that plan. And so that's important that we do that too, that we stick with that solid plan. So when I guess what spurred us on this article was, or this topic was an article. So before we go out and do the live demo, or did you want to do the live demo first?
Let's do live demo and then we'll talk
okay.
exercise snacks.
Okay, exercise snacks.
Yeah, but there's a snack.
We've talked about movement snacks, and we found this article about exercise snacks that we'll talk about later. That talk about how just a 20 or 30-second movement snack, exercise snack, can make a big difference in your overall health and calories burned, in energy that you feel, and stuff like that. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Are we ready to hit the road then?
Let's hit the road. Jack?
That means I've got to do this workout. Here we go. No, it's great. So,
hold on, I like this. Christy said, this reminds me of a cute video suggesting moms can stay fit by doing an air squat every time a kid yells mom. Your legs would be so ripped. So ripped.
That's hilarious. I love that. That's so funny. Mom, where are... That alone, right, would get you. All right. So... Sorry if you've been pinged like 37 times. Here we go. Woo. We're taking the show on the road.
Okay, so the next one is the lunge. So now this one you can do on different surfaces. So if you're not able to do, this is called an ATG lunge. You're working on being able to really work on your hip flexor mobility, your ankle and knee. If you're not able to do that quite like that, here, we demonstrated it. You can start on a higher surface and then work your way down. You can do it in a center set or a chair. You're coming here. Really great mobility exercise for helping knee, ankle, hip, opening things up. So I love that one. What's next? Oh, the plant or the toes. So we're here into here. So we can move back and forth. So less about stretching, more about moving. So just feeling from one to the other, for more of a mobility flow. You can work on different like shortcomings. So you can put your knees on a little bit wider. You really feel that stretch through your hips a little bit differently. So this depends. So I can, like I have done mobility that way, but I can stretch the inside of my hip a little bit different. So, and then from there we can go thoracic rotation. So we're going here. So anyway, I can't remember which way I was doing. Yeah, this way and this way. Then you reverse and do the opposite. Right? So just kind of warming everything up. Is there anything else? What did we want to do? Oh, so from the thoracic mobility, then you can do some stuff to potentiate. So to kind of get ready for more high impact movement or things like that. So this is called potentiating, getting ready for more of those explosive or heavy movements. So one you can do is like a clapping push-up, or even just a push-up where your hands come off the ground, just where you do a little bit more power, or something like a tuck jump, or even just jumping jacks, things like that. But like a tuck jump, something where you're just working on building up some of that explosivity after you just warmed up or kind of did that mobility flow. So, okay, so once you knock something like that out, and you can add whatever movements really help you. Those are some of the ones that I like to do. Oh, another one that we talked about that I think is really great for upper and mid back and things like that is to do a snow angel, but where you're on your stomach. So you're here just for waking up the glutes, upper back and shoulders, neck muscles, all of those types of things. Great kind of mobility workout. Okay. From there, now we're going to go into this big exercise routine. So Mark, you're going to have to help me see what's next because my eyesight sucks and it's hard to read off the mirror. That's where I wrote it all down when I was thinking about this the other day. Yes. Yep, starting with the hip thrust. So we're going to set up a timer. So every 20 seconds, it's going to hit to the next thing. If you want, you could do a timer where it's 20 seconds and then like a 3-second rest to switch to the next exercise. That's totally fine. For these purposes, I'm just going to keep it rolling. So here we go, 5 seconds. And we're going to start with the hip thrust. 1. Okay, right into a push-up. Next. So into the climbers. Hold on, I can't hear this one. There we go. Into the rollouts. And that's where I'm at. Some people can roll all the way out flat. I'm not there. So I'm just going here. Deadlift. Row. So into a row. You get to hear all my breathing now. Okay, into a clean. Curl. Okay, into a bicep curl. Feels like two heels. Overhead press. Oop, balance. Good morning. Into the good mornings. Back squat. And back squat. Calf raise. Calf raises. And lunge. And lunge. So for all of you who I've put through a workout and wanted to torture me or see me suffer, there you go. You're welcome. So that's the routine, kind of an around the world routine. You obviously have to pick a weight that you can do all of those exercises. So it's okay that it's going to be a little light on some, and then maybe pushing it on other exercises. That's fine. So pick something that you can safely do all of them, though. So the design of it is to keep it moving. It definitely gets your heart rate up a little bit more. So it's not ideal in terms of building strength because you're not loading it up really heavy, but you are putting some load on the system to maintain what you're doing, and it's better than nothing, and it helps to keep that consistency.
So it's a quick little routine, and that's the idea, is that it's something you could do. You could do another round, and we did that whole mobility flow plus 2 rounds of that workout in 15 minutes. Really quick, you hit everything, and you will feel a little short of breath, but really, even with all of that, it was a 4-minute, 20-second routine.
Right.
Like, that's all it took was 4 minutes, 20 seconds. If you built in the 3-minute or the 3-second breaks in between, which I would recommend, then I think it moves it to just under 5 minutes.
Yep. And you can do that one with body weight too. It's going to change a little bit, some of the things that you can do. But if you just pick a few basic exercises, right? Again, push-ups, a bridge, lunges, any of those things, you can do that even with minimal equipment. And so that can be really ideal for just, it's the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I didn't get it in. Or again, I'm traveling, I'm in an airport, I'm in a hotel, right? Like
hotel, airport, gym, like where they just don't have a lot. You can pick one piece of equipment and say, how many things can I do with this set of dumbbells? Or how many things can I do with that? And just try to rock it out and get a quick, easy workout in before you have to get to meetings or catch your flight or whatever.
Yeah. So great. So now let's talk exercise snacks. So we talked some time crunch workouts. Now exercise snacks, kind of similar to movement snacks in that it's breaking up those long periods of sitting throughout the day. But this one is it's about getting higher effort in. And so what they found is that if you do something, so as low as 20 seconds of a pretty difficult effort, and doing that 3 times a day can be enough to start to change your VO2 max. It can change how you process the sugar coming in from your food. So like if you're doing it after you eat, it can actually improve your insulin response. Mm-hmm. And just from a general cardiovascular health perspective, it can be really helpful. And so one of the people that I love to follow, so Andy Galpin, I've mentioned him on here before, he's an exercise physiologist. He recommends, if you can, 10 times a day doing something that's 20 to 30 seconds of pretty high effort. And so that could be running up a couple flights of stairs. Running up is key. Probably don't want to run downstairs. That can lead to some missteps and some unfortunate happenings. But something like that you could do if you have like a cycle nearby. You could do an all-out effort. I did that earlier today. Just jumped on one of the cycles in here, turned the resistance all the way up, and then 30 seconds, and it works. It works. Jumping jacks. Right? You could even do something like the stair climbers that Cameron did. There's lots of different options. You could run in place, right? Really fast.
You could do the mountain climbers just on the edge of your desk or things like that, right? Where you're just leaning against your desk and doing that, bringing your knee up to your elbow. Yeah, all those things. Running in place, jumping jacks, all those things.
And so to get the benefits, it doesn't necessarily have to be an all-out effort, right? Like I'm dead lying on the floor. But it does want to be like a pretty difficult effort. So 0 to 10 scale on that RPE, right? Rating of perceived exertion, something like probably 6 or higher, if you can manage that. And then again, it just has to be that short burst of activity, and that's actually enough to reverse some of the effects that we say, especially in terms of what's happening at a blood vessel level, can reverse some of what happens with long periods of sitting. And so it just doesn't take much to start to make a difference. Now, by no means is it going to like totally overhaul your fitness,
right?
But adding more of those in during the day can just do a lot to benefit your general cardiovascular health. And it goes back, you were actually having this conversation today about like I guess this is exercise specifically, but just about that non-exercise movement.
Right.
Just if we're adding in little bits more through each day, over days and weeks and months, that really begins to add up.
Right. Well, and so for me, it mimics more of what we used to do, right? Where we would kind of be moving or functioning all day with little bouts of higher intensity for certain things, right? So I like that. So this has actually been my primary workout strategy, I would say, for years. Being here in the clinic, I will do a set of some lift or exercise in between patients all day, every day.
Yeah.
So that's honestly, I would say, I do this maybe to my own detriment, where I do this more than I actually do a structured workout. But I'll tell you, it really does help keep everything at least at a baseline of a function, so you don't drop off too far.
Well, it was actually interesting to check some of the lifts today. So Cameron and I were checking lifts. So they have, you can look up charts that say like, where are you in terms of kind of expertise, weight to strength ratio.
Right. So beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert or pro or something.
Yeah. So yeah, like pro level basically. And so it's interesting because Cameron and I have different workout styles, right? I'm more of the like, this is my dedicated workout, and him doing that. But in terms of like strength to weight ratio, we're actually pretty fairly matched on.
Yeah,
on the
we're
different
in the
things
similar categories.
Yeah,
for strength to weight. Yeah,
and so it was just fascinating to see that.
Yeah,
and I, like Cameron said, is that very much mimics what our bodies were built for, right? And I think just keeping that in mind with whatever type of exercise that we're doing, trying to get in, it's not so much the specific mode of exercise that matters, right? It's doing it in a way that's designed according to how our physiology works.
Well, and just being consistent with
being consistent.
So I don't have the guns that Mark has. But strength to weight ratio wise, I'm still strong enough to be able to be functional and do the things I want to do.
And to do all the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's really the important
I
thing.
would like to be able to lift the back end of a snowmobile better or things like that, but
convenient.
But anyway, yeah.
So, but really, that is the end of the message. Is whatever's going to help us to have the best adherence, whatever's going to help us to be consistent the longest, is going to be the best ultimately. Because every time, the person that's been able to exercise consistently, for decades, is going to be so much further ahead than the person that just has sporadic bouts of working out really intensely and then dropping off, and working out really intensely and dropping off. It's all about building that compounding effect over time.
Yeah.
And so just the other thing that tends to happen when we try to do things too intense is, again, injury ends up sidelining us. And so anything that we can do to reduce or to prevent injury is going to save us so much time and so much frustration and so much effort in the long run. And so when we just focus on being consistent, our again, it's about our bodies getting those signals regularly. So they're like, oh, okay, I guess this is a thing that we're doing. Like, we're just exercising now, so I gotta keep up. Versus it's just kind of, oh, here or there. The body's not quite sure.
But when it's consistent, it knows that it needs to maintain a certain base level of function. Whereas when it's just every now and again, if we're only lifting, one time a week or something like that, it's random enough for our body that it doesn't get the message, essentially, that it needs to maintain that level of fitness or that level of strength or that level of resilience.
Yeah, I love the way that, as a fitness coach said this, he said that when we force the body, it reacts. When we coax the body, it responds. And I liked that imagery, right? Because, you think reaction is kind of more of a violent reaction,
volatile,
right? And so like a more extreme response versus coax and respond, right? It's just doing this little by little in small sustainable ways so that we don't set off the alarm systems like crazy. That we're just so the other thing that he gave is like, if you were to take 25 cents a day out of a bank account, like it would take a while perhaps before someone noticed, versus like you make a $1,500 withdrawal. That's like, oh, security's getting called, right? Fraud department's getting called.
Right.
And so similar thing, like if we can just gently bring our body along to the next level and to the next level progressively and sustainably, then one, it adapts, and two, that's a lot more enjoyable process and we can see that incremental progress along the way that helps us to maintain motivation and focus.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, that's the key. It's all about the consistency, and whatever helps you stay on track, that's where it's at. So hopefully this was just an idea. You don't have to follow the exact routine that I did. Like Christy said, whoa, that's a lot. There was a lot of things. So there were 13 different exercises I did in that little cycle. That's a lot. That's a lot to be able to like keep breathing for and stuff like that. So if you're not there, that's fine. Usually I kind of do it in groups of 5. I pick 5 exercises, go through that routine 3 different times. There's my 15 minutes. Whatever works best for you, and what equipment you have, what you have available. It's just about doing whatever it takes, modifying that to you. And that's really our goal, is helping you create that 30-year plan for your health and fitness, and having those plan B ideas in place of, okay, I'm on vacation, or I'm, out and about doing this, that, and the other, and just didn't get it in this morning. What can I do this evening, or what can I do just habitually before I get in the shower, or things like that, to find ways to get it in.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Hopefully that was a helpful kind of way of looking at things and being able to know what options you have for your health and fitness. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to catching you on the call on Thursday that should be at its regularly scheduled.
Thanks for listening to the Becoming Body Smart podcast. If you have questions, thoughts, or want to continue the conversation, reach out to us on our socials or join our community. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps us bring you even more valuable content. Remember, sustainable health is a lifelong journey, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Live longer, live stronger, and become body smart.